I want you to imagine a city, a really big, busy, noisy city.
Hmm.
You've got cars honking, people, rushing everywhere. And somewhere in all that noise, two people live right next to each other.
So close.
So close. Maybe they share a wall, or there's just this tiny little alleyway between them. They're neighbors,
Hmm.
but they're complete strangers.
It's such a classic setup, isn't it? That proximity, but also the distance. It feels like a very modern kind of loneliness.
Exactly. And that's exactly where we're starting today. Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Hi, everyone.
Today, we're looking at a source that is just perfect for this time of year. With Valentine's Day here, we're diving into a story called The Paper Plane Symphony.
The Paper Plane Symphony. I just love that title. It gives you an image right away.
Me too. It comes from a two-part story,
Mm.
and it was originally presented by Leo and Maya from Heartbeat English.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, this isn't just a simple love story. It's really creative. And since a lot of our listeners are learning English or just love a good story, we're going to take our time with this one. We'll really unpack it.
Yeah, that's our mission today, isn't it? To unpack this story. I mean, yes, it's romantic, but if you look deeper, it's really a lesson in creative communication
Mm.
and, vulnerability, being brave enough to show who you really are and how connections can form without a single word.
So if you're a dreamer, this one is for you. But, even if you're just someone who gets a little nervous meeting new people, I think you're going to get a lot out of this.
I agree. So let's set the scene. Who are these invisible neighbors?
Okay, let's do it. First, we have Julian. He lives in apartment 4B. The source describes him as a shy musician.
And when you say shy, what does that mean in the story?
I mean, he really keeps to himself. He plays the violin
Oh, okay.
every single night. But here's the kind of sad part. His only audience is his cat.
Wow. Just his cat. That's a very specific kind of isolation, to have this beautiful talent, this music inside you, but you're only sharing it with a pet. It really highlights that feeling of being lonely in a crowd. I think a lot of creative people can probably relate to that.
Right. And then just across that narrow alleyway, in apartment 4C, we have Elena.
And Elena's an artist. The story says she paints with these really bright colors, but, and I think this is a key detail, her life feels a bit gray lately.
I found that contrast so interesting. She's painting in color, but feeling gray.
It suggests she has all this life, this, vibrancy inside her, but maybe no one to share it with, just like Julian.
You're like mirror images of each other.
Exactly. So you've got Julian in 4B, Elena in 4C. They can actually see each other's shadows through their windows.
But they've never taken.
Yeah.
Not one time. They're just shadows to each other.
Living in these parallel worlds that just never touch.
Until, the catalyst arrives. It's
Right.
February 14th, Valentine's Day.
Of course it is. The one day that kind of forces everyone to think about their relationships or their lack of them.
Totally. The city is full of couples holding hands. And for Julian, it just makes the silence in his room feel so much louder. He looks at his violin and he has this thought. How can I share my music if I'm too afraid to speak?
And that's the core conflict right there, that desire to connect, but then the fear of rejection. He wants to be heard, but speaking feels, I don't know, too big, too scary.
So this is where it gets really good. Julian, he comes up with a plan, a really innovative idea.
Okay.
He doesn't have her number, he doesn't know her name,
Yeah.
but he has paper.
Paper. That's so simple. I mean, in a world of DMs and dating apps, he goes back to something analog, something you can touch.
Right. He takes a piece of yellow paper, and he doesn't write a letter. He doesn't write, "Hi, my name is Julian."
What does he do?
He just draws a single musical note,
Oh, that's good.
just one note. He folds the yellow paper into a plane, opens his window, and throws it across the alley.
Okay, but let's pause there. Think about the risk involved. I mean, the wind could just take it. It could land in a puddle. It's a real leap of faith.
It is, but it doesn't fail. The wind just kind of catches it, and it lands right on Elena's balcony.
Almost like fate or, just really good aerodynamics.
So Elena picks it up. She sees the musical note. She looks across the alley, and she sees Julian. But what does he do? He panics.
Oh, no.
He slams his curtain shut.
Classic. You put yourself out there for 1 second, and then the fear just rushes back in. She saw me. But okay, the important thing is she saw the note, and the source says she smiled.
That smile is everything. It's the first bit of feedback he gets. And this is where the symphony part really begins. The next day, a plane comes back to Julian's apartment.
From Elena.
Yep, but this one isn't yellow. She's painted it. Looks like a bright blue sky. And on the wing, she wrote a message.
What did it say?
It says, "Play me a song that feels like this color."
Oh, I love that. Play me a song that feels like this color. That's fascinating because they're crossing senses here. It's something we call synesthesia.
Synesthesia, that's a big word. Can you break that down for us?
Sure. So imagine like hearing a trumpet and seeing the color orange in your mind, or seeing a dark blue painting and hearing a deep cello sound.
Okay, gotcha.
It's about translating one feeling into a totally different language. She's not asking for a happy song. She wants a song that sounds blue.
It's such a creative challenge. And Julian is so ready for it, he picks up his violin, and the source says he plays a melody that's light, airy, and high to match the blue sky.
He's translating her visual art into his musical art. He's speaking her language, but with his instrument.
And she opens her window to listen.
So the barrier's gone now. The window is open. No more hiding.
Exactly. And this kicks off what the story calls a week of color. It's like this little montage. We get red planes, green planes. They're communicating through colors and chords.
No words. They're not asking, so what do you do for work?
No, none of that.
They're communicating with pure emotion and art. It's literally a symphony of falling in love.
Can we just talk about how romantic that is?
It's incredibly romantic. It strips away all the small talk. You know, sometimes words just get in the way. We worry about saying the wrong thing. But with music and color, it's just pure feeling.
It sounds so magical, but this is a story, so there has to be some drama. We're building to the climax now.
Right. The paper and music relationship has been great. But can it survive, the real world? Can it survive gravity?
So it's the evening of Valentine's Day. Julian decides he wants to escalate things. He wants to move from paper planes to something real.
And that's always the scary part, isn't it? Moving from the fantasy to reality. It feels safer to just keep throwing planes.
It does. But he wants more. So he makes one last plane. But this time, he does something different. He attaches a long, thin thread of red silk to the back of it.
Ah, the red thread. That immediately makes me think of the red thread of fate from East Asian folklore.
The red thread of fate. Tell me more.
Yeah, the legend says there's this invisible red thread that connects two people who are destined to meet. No matter the time or place, the thread can get tangled, but it'll never break.
Wow. That feels intentional then. He wants a physical link.
He wants to hold on, literally.
So he throws the plane, Elena catches it.
Okay, so picture this. You've got two apartments, an alley, and this red string connecting them. They're each holding one end.
A physical connection is finally made. Julian starts to play. The source says it's a deep, touching melody. It's perfect. But nature has other plans. A sudden gust of wind blows through the alley.
Oh no. The city fights back.
The thread gets tangled. There's a tree in the alley and it gets caught in the branches. The plane is stuck. And suddenly, the connection is broken.
Oh, that's just devastating in the moment. If you're Julian, who's already so insecure, how do you read that?
He panics. He sees it as a terrible sign. He thinks, the universe is telling me this is a bad idea. All that insecurity just comes rushing back. He retreats from the window.
It's so easy to let our fears write the story for us. He just assumes the broken string means a broken everything. He thinks, I tried to make it real and I failed.
He's pacing his room, thinking he's ruined the magic. But then he hears a sound.
Not from his violin.
No, a sound from his front door. Knock, knock, knock.
This is it. The moment of truth.
Julian opens the door. And who do you think is standing there?
It has to be her. It has to be Elena.
It is. But here's the detail that really got me. She isn't holding the red thread. She isn't holding the fancy blue plane. She is holding the yellow plane from the very first day.
The one with the single musical note?
Yes. And I have to ask you, what does that mean? Why did she come to the door? And why that specific plane?
Well, think about it. The string, which was Julian's attempt to create a physical path, it failed. It broke.
Right, the tether.
But Elena didn't need it. She didn't need the grand gesture. She followed the music.
Follow the sound.
Exactly. The connection was never the string. It was the feeling they'd built all week. She walked out of her apartment, down the stairs, and found him because she wanted to find him. She made her own path.
That is so profound.
And bringing the yellow plane, I think that's her saying, I remember how this started. I treasure the first brave thing you did. It validates that first small step he took.
I love that. And this leads to their first actual spoken words. Do you want to do the honors?
I'd love to. She looks at him and she says, the music was beautiful, but I think the musician is even better.
Wow. Elena is smooth.
Very smooth. And it just breaks the ice completely. All that tension just melts away.
So it's Valentine's Day. They're finally face to face. Do they go to a fancy restaurant?
No, and I think this fits the story perfectly. They stay right where they are.
They sit on Julian's floor, and they eat simple sandwiches.
Sandwiches on the floor. I love it.
And they do what they do best. Julian plays his violin, and Elena sketches in her book.
It's so authentic. They aren't trying to impress each other with, money or a big night out. They're just sharing their true selves. That's real intimacy.
It really is. The source wraps it up by saying, "It was a touching reminder that love doesn't need a grand stage. It just needs a way to find a path through the noise."
A path through the noise. That brings us right back to the beginning, doesn't it? The noisy city, the isolation. They found the signal in all that noise.
So what's the big takeaway for us, for everyone listening?
Well, if we look at the lesson from Leo and Maya, who narrated the source, it all comes back to vulnerability.
Vulnerability, that's a huge one. Being open to getting hurt, I guess.
Yes, Julian was terrified. He was hiding behind his curtains. But he took one small creative step. He threw one piece of paper. If he hadn't done that, nothing would have ever changed.
So the lesson is be creative. You don't have to follow the standard script of dating apps and pickup lines.
Exactly. Use what you have. Julian had music, Elena had paint. They used their own unique languages to speak to each other. Being creative is just a way of showing who you really are.
And you don't need a red thread to force a connection.
No, that's such an important point. The red thread was about control. Julian tried to control the outcome, but real connection, it needs trust. If the feeling is real, like the music was, it'll find a way.
That's a great takeaway. It's about substance over style. Although I have to say, the paper planes were pretty stylish.
They were very stylish. I admit I might try making one later today.
It makes me think. In our digital world, we send emojis, texts. But there's something so romantic about a physical object, a folded piece of paper. It takes effort. It takes time.
Yes. And in a busy world, giving someone your time is the biggest compliment. When you fold the plane, you're putting your time into it. That's worth more than 100 quick texts.
Absolutely. So we've unpacked the story of Julian and Elena, from a silent apartment to a shared sandwich on the floor.
A journey from grayness to color.
I want to leave our listeners with a final thought, maybe a little challenge.
Let's hear it.
We talked about how Julian used music to express a color. If you couldn't use words today, if you couldn't say, "I love you" or "I like you," what color or what melody would you use to tell someone how you feel?
That is a beautiful question. It really makes you think about your emotions in a different way. Would it be like a bright yellow trumpet sound? Or maybe a soft blue piano melody?
Or maybe a chaotic red drum solo, if things are complicated.
Hopefully not too chaotic for Valentine's Day, but, even that is communication.
Hopefully not. But really, think about it. How can you express yourself creatively today?
And remember to keep your hearts open. You never know who might be listening on the other side of the wall.
Exactly. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone out there. Whether you're with someone or just enjoying your own company, we hope you find a little bit of magic.
Indeed. Talk to you soon.
Thanks for diving in with us. See you next time.